Hello, YouTube family. Thanks for staying right here with Hadassah's Crown Publishing. This is a video. I have not just sat and had a candid conversation about publishing in a while, but I felt it was time and necessary, and I've been wanting to come back and talk with you. But after I read this article, I said, okay, that's it. It's definitely time. So there is an author, a best-selling author who retired, published a couple of books, and so he says now he's done. He doesn't want to publish anymore. He has to spend time with his family and taking care of his house and business and that type thing. But I don't ever like to call anyone out, but this was published on March 10th, 2025. And I do respect Bill Bryson's opinions. I do. And if I had his experience and had walked in his shoes, I'm sure I probably would feel the same way. But I am on somewhat the other side of the world, and I do see things a little differently. So he says, too many people publishing their own books. And I can say that if you are going to publish and you're not meticulously editing your book, or definitely having someone else help you with it, getting feedback on your book, and really considering your why, those things are crucial before you publish. It's not just to put on your resume that you are an author and that you've published a book. That's not kind of how it goes. What is your book going to contribute to others? How is it going to help the world? Those are some pertinent questions that you're supposed to ask. But what Bill says that gets my goat, if you will, he says, self-publishing world, the self-publishing world has become too big with far too many books about some anonymous person's life. Now, that's where I have a problem, because basically he's saying that there are big people, important people, and then there are small people who are not important. Where I'm from, the way I believe, everybody's important. Everybody has experienced something that they can say that can help somebody else. So that's one of the reasons for publishing. Another thing is too, that just because you're not, and I don't want to call a bunch of celebrity names, I don't want to call anybody out in this, but because you don't have a huge following, it does not take away your story and say that you don't have anything to say or that your life is insignificant. That is just not the case. It's not. I truly believe that everybody has a story. Now, he does talk about the art of writing. Yes, writing is an art. Everybody can't write a book. But what he needs to realize is that a lot of the famous people can't write, and they don't write their own books. Average people may not be able to pay for someone to write their story, to ghostwrite it, to make them sound like they just stepped out of, an English institute or an English doctoral degree. So let's go on a little bit, and I'm going to calm down a little bit. The growth in the number of self-published books, which are mainly distributed through Amazon platforms, Amazon makes it very easy and Amazon is free, has previously led to fears that it is harder for good self-publishing authors to be noticed by publishers and bookshops. It is thought that about 90% of self-published books sell fewer than 100 copies, and I've heard 50, and that's probably true. And although some self-publishing writers have become successful, like notably Colleen Hoover, many others have not. Well, how do you define success? Some people, and he'll talk about it a little later, their goal is to publish something so that their family can really remember their legacy and everything that they've done. So that may be their goal. And you can't take that away from them because you have a different goal. Many authors don't set out to become New York Times bestsellers. They don't. They have another audience, or they have a smaller audience. They just want to help somebody. So what is wrong with that? But anyway, he spoke to the New York Times last week after judging this year's Nero Gold Book of the Year award and said, I'm not sure that self-publishing is a healthy development. I think it is great if you self-publish because you want a book to pass on to your kids and tell them about your life, but not if you are doing it because you think it suddenly makes you a writer and you can bother people for quotes for the book. I get sent a lot of self published books, and most of the time it is just some anonymous person's life and it is of no interest. So, yes, there are some people who want to talk about their life, and maybe their life is not interesting to the masses. But many books are focused on a certain population, and they are to shed light on something to keep someone else from falling into that same trap, or it is inspiration for a child. You know, I am an advocate, a believer that we need diverse books. We need books from many different voices, from different segments of the population. And traditional publishing was not cutting it. Traditional publishing was only, publishing for the people that he likes, probably, who are rich and famous, who can pay someone to write their book. But again, anyone who wants to publish and has a desire should be able to publish. Now, again, I agree with him on everybody can't write. And if you're not willing to get some good information and take some classes, if you're not willing to try to write something very good, then perhaps publishing shouldn't be for you. If you're not willing to undergo some substantial editing, then publishing is probably not the best thing. Just maybe do a journal and pass your journal along to other people to read, if that's what you want to do. But again, he says that the marketplace is just very, very, very crowded. Well, bookstores and other libraries, they get to choose what it is that they pick and they select. And I do know it's not easy to get through all of the books, all of the time, but it's good to have more books than you need than to not have enough, or for there to be a shortage, for people to just say, oh, there's no money in making books or writing books and people aren't going to read them. I think money as a motivator is not a great reason anyway. Because again, some people will become rich from writing books, others won't. But again, it should be about a story that you have to tell more so than what you're going to get out of it. Now, yes, you should count the cost and you should want to, compensate yourself or reimburse yourself for your time and the efforts and, the marketing and everything that you do. But again, it's a gamble. Maybe your book will take off and go viral, if you will, but maybe it won't. So you have to, again, as an author, consider your goals and your target market, your target audience. But at the same time, nobody should be able to tell you that if it's something that you want to do. I don't encourage people to go it alone. Get someone to help you at least your first time, take you by the hand, help you just make sure you check everything well and that you are producing a very high quality professional work. But at the same time, I don't like when people say that, there just is only a certain segment of the population that should be able to produce a book. So anyway, he goes on lastly to say, I definitely see a variety of quality in the people who contact me, and actually it affects where I advertise. I found there are people who aspire to this notion of being a writer, but don't really think about what that means or the efforts required or the quality standards. He said all writers aspire to appear in a bookshop above Amazon. Everybody would love to be on the shelf, but it is hard not to feel they are more and more dominated by celebrities. Bryson, who is one of the best-selling English language writers of the past 40 years, though, through books, including and it lists his couple of titles, has no intention of putting further books on the shelf. So again, and I've debated my thoughts about writing and publishing and that type thing. You may not be a writer, but you may have an excellent story that needs to be told that somebody can benefit from. And so, yes, you can be an author. You should seek help and get someone to help you publish your story. But because you're not famous and no one knows you, that is not a good reason for someone to tell you, no, you don't need to publish a book. So I can liken this to many different things. I don't have a great analogy right off the bat, but this is a controversial hot topic. I do want to spend some more time in subsequent videos talking about traditional publishing and some of the things that have gone wrong with traditional publishing and why more people are going to self-publishing, even hybrid or indie publishing. But then too, why one of the huge traditional publishers is now offering a self-publishing platform. So this conversation will continue. We don't normally get a lot of comments, but I really welcome what you have to say. Everybody has their opinions. So do you agree with everything that Bill Bryson is saying in this article? Do you somewhat see some of the points that I'm seeing? What do you think? Every reader, from my opinion, this is wrapping it up, has a choice. And the more options that are out there, the better, I think. So let me know. What do you think? Thanks for tuning in. Stick around, subscribe, like, share. We will be back with more content. Make it a great day.